Good afternoon, everyone. I welcome you all in today's webinar organized by IPSF, that is 101 series on the topic Building a Career in Clinical SAS Programming. Can we go to the previous slide, please? Uh, okay, thank you. So, IPA, Indian Pharmaceutical Association, it was established in 1939 in Banaras Hindu University, oldest premier association of pharmaceutical professionals in India. IPA operates in India through 22 states, branches, and more than 46 local branches. For further information, you can go to our website, which is given on this slide. Indian Pharmaceutical Association Student Form, or IPSF. The IPSF is a network of motivated young pharmacists and pharmaceutical graduates within IPA. IPSF was formed in 2008 at Mumbai in the presence of former President of India, late Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. The IPSF objectives are to facilitate connections and networking so that new ideas can be shared and to open doors to information and new possibilities. We are widespread and are in about 15 states with 5,000 members. My name is Nitika Ratti. I am Public Relations Subcommittee Member, IPA Student Form 2023. I am pursuing B Pharma from Pune College of Pharmacy and I am your host for today. Now, I would like to introduce our steering committee for the year 2023. Our president, Mr. Sainath Chare Ganoji, our vice president, Prashuli Doshe, our secretary, Kar Shah, our chairperson of license, Vivek Kamble, our chairpersons of projects, Devyangi Bhatnagar, and our chairperson of public relations, Mohit Manchanda, and our treasurer, Shakti Singh. Without any delay, I would like to introduce our eminent speaker for today, Mr. Sanjeeva Reddy. Mr. Sanjeeva Reddy is currently a senior statistical programmer at IQVIA with Novartis client. He is skilled and certified for base and advanced by SAS institutes and intermediate proficiency in Python and R programming. His experience includes associate statistical programmer, medical writer, clinical research organization, clinical SAS programmer, GenPro research, statistical programmer, specialist convents, statistical programmer, quantitative pharmacology and pharmacometrics, pharmacokinetics and pharmacodynamics, population PK/PD cycle, and presently as senior statistical programmer. His areas of expertise include PKPD oncology, cardiovascular, neurology, safety, and efficacy, clinical trials reporting, FDA submission guidance, clinical study, and many more. Having an accomplished expertise in his field, Mr. Reddy has proved himself to be a big foot with an admiring career carrying Cultural Award winner, client excellence, co-wins, and a list of skills. Now, without any further delay, I would welcome Dr. Sanjeev Reddy to kindly start his event. The floor is all yours, sir.
Thank you, Nitika, and thank you, IPSF, for organizing this session. A special thanks to Sainath Chari for reaching out to me and for organizing this wonderful session. And once again, thank you, Nitika, for the introduction. So, without further any delay, I'll be starting my sharing my screen, and I'll start the presentation. Thank you. Thank you all for joining. So, did you know that the demand for the skilled programmers is expected to grow over the next decade? With the rise of new therapies and treatments, there is a pressing need for professionals who can analyze the clinical complex data, provide insights that can save lives. Today, we are going to explore the exciting opportunities available in the field of statistical programming and discuss the skills that you need to succeed in this rewarding career. So in this presentation, I will give you an overview of the industry, discuss the role of statistics and programming in the field of clinical trials. I will provide an introduction to clinical trials and describe some of the related positions and their responsibilities. I will also highlight the necessary educational qualifications and skills. And finally, I'll share some ideas on how to pursue a career in statistical programming. So, developing a new drug or a biologic or a medical device is a time consuming and costly process. It can take a span of 10 to 15 years and can cost millions, if not billions of dollars to bring a new product to the market. The entire life cycle can broadly categorize it into three stages: discovery and research, clinical development, commercialization. During the discovery and research stage of drug and biologics development, laboratory scientists screen and evaluate thousands of molecules to identify a potential compound that may be effective in treating or preventing a specific disease or condition. After identifying a candidate compound and a target disease or condition, the compound undergoes extensive non-clinical testing. This testing involves laboratory experiments and animal studies to evaluate potential therapeutic effects, safety, and toxicity of the compound, and to determine whether it can process to the clinical development stage or not. In the development process of in the development process for medical devices, the discovery and research stage commences with the initial concept of a new device, which is then followed by a stage of design and development planning. Prototypes are subsequently constructed, tested, and iteratively refined until the final design is defined. Once the device design is established, verification testing is performed as the device transitions into the clinical development stage. During the clinical development stage, a clinical trial research study is conducted to evaluate the safety and efficacy of the compound or device by exposing volunteer human subjects to the drugs or devices. Before moving on to the next slide, I would like to ask a question. I would like to make this presentation more interactively. So I'd like to ask a question. How many phases are there in the clinical trials? If anyone wants to answer, you can unmute yourself if possible and answer. Okay, no issues. We'll move on to the next slide.
Sir, participants are texting in the chat box.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, great. Uh, Additionally, clinical trials are often used to compare treatments and determine which treatment option is superior. There are four phases of clinical trials known as phase 1 to phase 4. So in phase 1 studies, a small number of usually less than 100 healthy volunteers are administered the compound. These studies used to assess a compound's safety, tolerability, and pharmacologic profile. Phase 2 studies are used to study the safety and efficacy or effectiveness of the compound in subjects having a specific disease or condition. Typically, phase 2 studies are larger, enrolling 1 to 100 subjects, and the studies are run under very controlled conditions. Phase 3 studies are referred to as a pivotal studies and are also used to assess safety and efficacy in a specific target population. These studies are much larger, enrolling several hundred to thousands of subjects. Following the successful completion of the phase 1 to phase 3 studies, data from the preclinical studies and the clinical trials are collected and compiled into a package known as a new drug application (NDA). This NDA is then submitted to the regulatory agencies such as Food and Drug Administration (FDA), that is in the US, European Medical Agency (EMA) for review and recommendation. If the regulatory agencies approve the NDA, the product will proceed to the commercialization stage. And here I would like to ask a question. Do any one of you have any idea about the regulatory body of India? So yes, that's great. CDSCO. Yeah, that's great. So CDSCO is our regulatory body, Central Drug Standards Control Organization. And let us get back to our topic, and thank you all for answering. So moving on. So phase 4, that is commercialization stage, the manufacturer is allowed to market and sell its product in the countries where the regulatory approval has been granted. Once marketed, the manufacturer must continue to monitor and collect information about its product and provide updates to the regulatory agencies regarding the safety of its product. Phase 4 studies are initiated in this stage, so these are used to continue to collect the safety and efficacy information on product usage, to test the use of the product for new indications, and to study cost effectiveness and quality of life issues associated with the product. Throughout the product development life cycle, statistical methods play a critical role in all three stages. During the discovery and research stage, statistical methodology is employed to analyze the data obtained from laboratory experiments and animal studies. By using experimental design methods, it may be possible to reduce the sample size and number of studies required, thereby helping to manage costs. Similarly, statistical methods are used during the clinical development and commercialization stage to effectively plan and carry out clinical trials, as well as analyze the data collected from these studies. Lastly, during the product manufacturing, statistical process control (SPC) is employed to measure and control variability, ensuring the product quality is maintained. Clinical trials generate a huge amounts of data, which must be collected, stored, manipulated, combined, analyzed, and presented in a meaningful way. Programming is used in conjunction with the statistical software to carry out these tasks. SAS has been widely adopted by the industry for many years, and the majority of biopharmaceutical and medical device companies currently use SAS, particularly when working with the clinical trials data. SAS programming is user-friendly and easy to learn. 3000 plus life sciences companies are using SAS. 100% of Fortune 500 companies of life sciences category are using the SAS. Pharmaceuticals, medical devices, vaccines, or any other healthcare companies require FDA approval to release their products to market. For this approval process, all these companies must use this SAS tool to report the data. The conduct and the execution of a clinical trials is described in a document called a clinical protocol. The protocol is written plan which describes the objectives of the study, types of the subject who will be enrolled, schedules of the tests and procedures will be performed, what are all the drugs and dosages will be administered, and what is the length of the study and outcomes of the study that will be measured. Those all things will be there in our protocol. The clinical trial is conducted at one or more clinical study sites chosen by the company conducting the clinical trials, which is also known as a study sponsor. Clinical study sites may include doctors' offices, hospitals, clinics, or outpatient facilities. Some of the key personnel involved in writing the protocol and conducting the clinical trial include the clinical program manager, who serves as a project manager and may have oversight over the multiple clinical trials. The medical monitor or a physician who provides the medical guidance in the design, execution, and reporting of the clinical trial. The clinical research associate or a CRA who is responsible for monitoring the execution of the clinical trial at the clinical study site. The medical writer who complies and prepares the clinical documents, particularly those to be filed with regulatory agencies. The data manager who oversees the design and maintenance of the database where the clinical trials data is stored. The biostatistician who provides the statistical expertise in the clinical trial design and analysis of the data. The statistical programmer who generates the required data sets, tables, listings, and figures needed for the analysis and reporting of the study. Once a clinical trial is completed, a report will be prepared and written, which is called a clinical study report or a CSR, representing the results, findings, and conclusions of the clinical trials. The vast majority of biostatistics related jobs involved in working with the clinical trials data, so this discussion will focus primarily on positions in a clinical trials environment. These positions may exist within a sponsor company that is conducting the clinical trials, or the positions may be within a contract research organization, a company to whom the sponsor has outsourced the work. The clinical biostatistician or statistician has the primary responsibility to provide statistical expertise in the design of the clinical trials and in the analysis and associated interpretations of the study data. Other key responsibilities may include writing the statistical methodology section of the study protocol, which describes the statistical analysis. These statistical analyses are used in the study design and analysis of the clinical trials data. The responsibilities also include determining the correct sample size or number of subjects needed to achieve the statistical significance in the context of study hypothesis being tested. Generating the study randomization schedule, which is used to randomly assign subjects in the clinical trial to the different treatment groups in the study. Writing the statistical analysis plan or SAP, which is a document that provides more specific details for performing the statistical analysis described in the study protocol. Defining the outputs like tables, listings, figures needed for the analysis. The defining any additional ad hoc outputs needed and writing the statistical sections of the clinical study report. Also pharmacokinetics, providing statistical support for the exploration, analysis, presentation and interpretation of the pharmacokinetic and pharmacodynamic data. Statistical programmer or SAS programmer has the primary responsibility of writing programs in SAS to generate the output data sets, tables, listings, figures needed for the analysis and reporting of the clinical study. Other key responsibilities may include annotating the blank case report forms and the database structures where the data will be stored. Sometimes writing programs known as edit checks to generate output that is used for data cleaning and data review. Writing programs to perform the statistical analysis and generate ad hoc outputs. Creating analysis data sets containing derived variables and writing programs to validate outputs and data sets produced by others. In some companies, a distinction is made between statistical programmers and clinical programmers. In these companies, statistical programmers generate all the necessary statistical outputs needed for the study and work closely with the project statisticians. While clinical programmers work exclusively on non-statistical programming tasks, other related responsibilities may include for the statistical programmers creating datasets in a standardized structure and format submitting to the FDA. Pharmacokinetics programmers may involve working with the pharmacologists to produce the datasets needed for performing clinical pharmacokinetic analysis. So to obtain a position as a biostatistician or statistician, MSc statistics preferably in biostatistics or statistics may require any advanced degree with a strong emphasis in statistics such as masters in public health, concentration in biostatistics is also acceptable. Knowledge of statistical software, particularly SAS, is also required. Familiarity with the SAS programming language and the ability to write code in SAS is very desirable skill. Few companies may consider M.Pharm, M.Tech, MCA, B.Pharm, BSc candidates as well. Written communication skills are very important as a biostatistician and statistician. Oral communication skills may also important since the biostatistician or statistician plays a role in the clinical study team may also be asked to present the company meetings with regulatory agencies such as FDA. To obtain a position as a statistical programmer or clinical programmer, minimum a bachelor's degree is required, good quantitative skills and extensive knowledge of SAS programming language is also required. Both written and oral communication skills are also important. Being detail oriented is also a helpful characteristic since programming code must be written to produce output that is consistent and correct. Along with educational qualifications, few companies may ask for certification in SAS programming. There are various types of certifications like Certified Programmer for Base, Certified Programmer for Advanced, Certified Clinical Trials Programmer. At least base SAS certification is desirable. SAS tool enables you to write programs to access, explore, prepare and analyze data. SAS is used for statistical analysis, enables users to perform tasks such as importing data from multiple sources. For those who are aspiring to pursue a career in statistical programming, we have created a YouTube channel with the aim of providing guidance and insights in our channel. Our channel features programming videos based on our experiences with fictitious data, which will help individuals gain practical skills and knowledge in the field. We believe that this will be a valuable resource for those who are looking to start their career in statistical programming or for those who wish to enhance their existing skills. We hope that our channel will serve as a helpful tool for anyone interested in the field of statistical programming. It is also a platform dedicated to programmers and learners who wish to share their insights with others. We encourage you to create the informative videos on any topic you have in your mind and share it with us. We will gladly upload your video to our channel where it can be viewed by our community of programmers. And if you have any doubts while watching, you can also contact me. Future job prospects appear to be good as a demand for people with skills in both biostatistics and SAS programming remains high. SAS has over 40,000 customers worldwide and holds a largest market share in the advanced analytics. It has been tagged as the leader consistently for the last 6 consecutive years in advanced analytics platforms. In summary, if you are looking for the opportunity to develop and expand your career while collaborating with other talented individuals in positively impacting health for everyone, consider a career in biostatistics and clinical SAS programming. Finally, I would like to thank again all for joining and special thanks for IPSF for organizing this.
Uh, welcome, sir. Now we can start with the question and answer session. Any one of you can raise your hand for the questions or use the chat box.
Sir, there is one question from my end.
Yeah.
Generally, if any particular life sciences student or a B Farm or N Farm or a PharmD student who is interested to pursue their career in this particular statistical like biostatistics, so they have to clear this particular SAS exam. So there is a saying like we don't know that much like about how this particular examination or who conducts it and what is its genuinity like. And there are certain coaching institutes or the organizations which charge lakhs of rupees for this particular examination. So can you please guide us the students in India if they are interested to pursue their career in biostatistics? Is this necessary to do it exam and is there necessary for such coaching institutes for passing or cracking this examination or they can do by themselves? So can you please guide in these regards?
Sure. Thank you, Sainath, for bringing this wonderful question. Because, while I was learning in 2015, I have completed my bachelor's degree in pharmacy from St. Peter's Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Kakatiya University, Warangal. So after completing my graduation, I was working with a pharmaceutical company in quality assurance department. When I was with that company, I was, I have learned SAS from my senior, who was my roommate, and then I was struggling a lot to get a job. Okay, so to remove that struggle, I don't want anyone to go through the struggle which I went through. So that's why I have started a YouTube channel to guide the statistical programming career aspirants. Okay, and regarding the certification, some companies may ask for certification because that is an exam conducted by the SAS Institute itself. SAS is also a company. They will conduct the exam, and if you are qualified in that, companies may consider your application preferably. And for example, let's say there are 50 applications, and from that, whoever having certification, they will be shortlisted first. I hope I have answered your question, Sainath.
Yes, but if a particular student need to go throughout this particular journey of this examination,
Mhm.
so is there a necessity for a coaching institute which plays a role, or a student by himself, by the available resources, he can crack this examination?
He can crack the exam, and while watching my videos, if you are getting any doubts, if you are having any questions, you can directly mail me, so that whenever I have time on Saturday, Sunday, I will be connecting with you people and clearing your doubts. And also one more thing, I have also implemented assignments in my channel, which will help to gain practical knowledge. So you can crack the exam by watching my videos.
Okay, sir. And thank you for creating such a platform and helping out students in this particular SAS. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Miss Nitika, you can carry on. The other questions are there in the chat box.
So the next question is, from where we have to start learning SAS?
My YouTube channel, which will be shared with all of you, and you can straight away start learning SAS from there. And if you are having any questions, you can always contact me.
Okay, now the next question is, are the CAS certified courses in Coursera website have value?
Adding to this question, I'll also add my question with similar line.
Mhm.
So there are certain coaching institutes coming forward and saying that we will provide coaching in SAS and will provide certificate.
Okay.
So that particular certificate values compared to the SAS institute which is providing certification.
So, that's a nice question, Sainath. Thank you for bringing this up. SAS certification is only acceptable when you have learned SAS from an institute. If they are giving an internship or learning certificate, that is acceptable. But at the end of the day, recruiters, hiring managers, company professionals will only accept the SAS certification, certification only, because they have to go through an exam. Then only the certification will be issued. So they will focus only on the official SAS certification.
Thank you so much, sir. There are no more questions left now.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now I would request our president, Mr. Saina, to kindly give the vote of thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Nitika. I request our technical assistant to present the slide. Sir, there is one question in the chat box.
Yes,
Sir,
yes,
other
I can
than
see that.
clinical trial, is SAS program is important to other field as well? I think apart from pharmaceutical, SAS is used for other.
Yes, that's a good question. There are banking, finance, data analytics, advanced data analytics, machine learning, data mining, data science. That is where SAS is also being used.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
So, with your permission, I would like to convey our vote of thanks on behalf of IPSF, sir.
Yes,
You have
thank you so
covered the
much.
topic
Yes,
on
yes. Go ahead.
building the career in clinical SAS programming. This is one of the aspect where you have motivated the pharmacy students from India in order to make an impact in the pharmaceutical industry. Definitely, this particular session is a rejuvenating and a source of motivation to all the students community out here. And you have also addressed the students from the basic level of new drug application, CDSO, and the different drug regulatories, and the aspects of biostatistics related to the positions and its responsibilities. And also, you mentioned about the pursuing career in the statistical programming, and you have covered all the doubts with your patience, presence, and hearing. Hope it is a very good morning over there in your place, even though you came forward and you have shown your commitment for the pharmacy students in India. Once again, I would like to thank on behalf of pharmacy students of India and IPASF. We are delighted to have you, sir. And I request all the participants to fill out the feedback form to get your participation certificates. And I request all the members who are here to kindly follow our social handles in Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And hope so you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And without the team support, it wouldn't have come here. I would like to thank all the team of IPASF for making this session successful. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for joining, and thank you so much, Sainath. Thank you, IPSF, for conducting this one.